Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I have Jeffery Johnson and Brandon King in the house with me today. How are you guys doing, gentlemen?
Man, we good. Well, I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, I'm good. No complaints over here.
No complaints.
You know, I mean, we survived 400 years. We can survive 4 more.
That's what I'm rolling with too, my man. That's what I'm rolling with too. But I gotta check on my close friends, as Kanye West would say.
Yeah.
So for those who are wondering about my ambiance, I'm on my way to Munich, Germany. I'm going to cover an NFL game later this weekend, so it's gonna be a fun ride with regards to that. Gonna do some podcasting while I'm out there too. I'm gonna run through the. Oh man, welcome to episode 578 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab Radio Show and Podcast, the show that's covering the HBCUs, the sporting diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David Rhodes, along with my co-hosts, Brandon King and Jeff Johnson. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Fame Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home at Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. All right, guys. We got a lot of things to talk about, man. Well, you know, over the past week, we had the A&T Town Hall. We had A&T's volleyball team finally made the CAA playoffs for the first time. Only the top 6 teams get in, so shout out to those ladies for pulling that off. We got a big game this weekend, big series this weekend against Hofstra. But I know we have to get into these games. So I'm going to ask you first, Jeff. Was there any game outside of yours that was intriguing?
You know what? No. It was pretty much... No. Everything went basically as expected. You know, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. So I'm just be honest, man. No. Okay,
fair enough. What about you, Mr. King? We're going to get into our games next, but what about you, Mr. King?
I'm going to say that the Johnson C. Smith game, I did not see them, first of all, losing, but then losing 27-0. That was a bit surprising, considering how they had just kind of ran through the CIAA so far this year. So to see them kind of get spanked like that, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. But, you know, as Chris Berman would say, that's why they play the game.
So
that was,
yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff. You got it, Jeff.
No, I mean, I will throw one in there. Bethune-Cookman beating Grambling, you know, because Bethune-Cookman tire fire. And, you know, Grambling, they're still pretty much trying to figure out their way. So I would definitely, that's my intriguing one. John C. Smith, it was coming. I think the way that their coach actually speaks a lot, you know, he built up a lot of resentment in the CIAA. So, you know, it was coming, honestly.
Yeah, I think the score that kind of made me take it back was what happened between Bluefield State and Virginia Union. I mean, and then when I heard that the coach made the decision to go for 2 after being up 89-0.
It didn't have the nerve to say he wasn't trying to run up the score.
He said he was trying to break. From what I understand, they were trying to break a record.
You know what, though? That's why they play the game. I mean, but you got to show some mercy, man, some grace, man, you know.
Depending on who you ask, some people think that's what you're supposed to do.
No, but you know, I will say this too about Virginia Union, because they put one on us too a couple years ago when that was the great game nobody wants to speak about. But, you know, so, and I got all the respect for that coach there. So I get it, you know, but I mean, I wouldn't put that up. I'll at least put in my 4 stringers if that exists in the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Grambling situation is kind of rough because I know there was a lot of high expectations for Grambling this season. A lot of folks thought they could sneak out of the West, and now it looks like Southern literally has a path to clinch the West this weekend.
Grambling is Grambling always, you know, Grambling. So, I mean, it's nothing new with them.
They used to be a power. Don't do that to Grambling.
Our Monday morning quarterback this and ask, do you think it is possible? Do you think they may have buyer's remorse about the coaching decision that they made this offseason?
You mean
not yet?
Moving off of Hugh Jackson?
Yeah.
No. Hugh Jackson, like this man, Hugh Jackson was taking pictures in front of Bentleys. You know, like no, they move off him quick, man. Like. I mean, no. He was trying to duplicate what Deion Sanders was doing with the whole image, and it was tacky and it was terrible. No, they do not regret it. I just think that Grambling they have not had a legitimate coach since Williams was there or Broadway.
So you mean to tell me you didn't like the yellow and black media day suits? You didn't like the
Oh, no. I'll tell you this. Hold on. The Flash, yeah, that's good. I love the Flash, but when it's
that means you Eric Dooley got in. That means you got to be Eric Dooley guy. He had Grambling. He the OC over there now.
No, and look what happens. You know, Eric Dooley, and you see exactly what Eric Dooley produces. So I'll just put it to you like this: Grambling is flash, Grambling is style. But when it comes down to it, Grambling will do exactly what we expect them to do.
All right. I think this is a good time to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of these football games. And I want to talk a little bit of basketball, too.
Yeah.
We'll do that after the next segment. So when we come back, we'll talk about our 3 football games coming and our 3 football games going.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I'm here with Brandon, I'm here with Jeff, and hopefully you guys don't hear all this background noise. I'm assuming y'all don't, but we'll see. So that being said, I'll start with my alma mater because it'll be quick, short, and dirty. We're not a good football team. We're at a youth movement right now. A&T lost to William & Mary 45-7. They never led the game. They were down 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. They were down 28-0 at the half. Justin Fonby got benched because he made a mistake at the end of the first half, where he got sacked when they had a chance to score in the red zone. So they're going to probably play Braxton Thomas for a couple more games. It sounds like he's going to get more playing time. He's a true freshman that we picked up. Really good talented quarterback. He just needs time. He's going to get the opportunity to get those reps with the next couple of weeks and still keep his red shirt. That's the goal, according to Coach Vincent Brown. It's been pretty rough for A&T this season. You might have the opportunity to get one more win, but if they're going with the youth movement at this point, I don't see it. But overall, I think it's just going to be about just trying to get the reps and getting the right people they need to be within the program. Do anybody have any thoughts about the UNT game? I know I was quick and dirty with that one.
No, I think you covered it pretty well. A&T does have a youth movement, and they also have an old coaches movement too. So we just got to figure that out.
The way things are going right now, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't see us moving off from Coach Brown for at least another year or two. Most likely two.
No, it's like we will always say, okay, give the coach 3 years. Let him coach his way out of the job. And I guess with the contract you gave him, you let him coach it. But unfortunately, let's just see what the guy could do, actually. So,
yeah, I will say this, and I'll let you go, Brandon. Year 3 is going to be pivotal for him. It's going to be pivotal for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have to give him 3 years or at least a recruiting class to see if the program is starting to head in the right direction. I think sometimes these schools may pull the trigger on a coach a little too soon because, when you do that, now if you do it in season, you're in the interim stage and it puts you potentially behind in recruiting and, it's just the whole thing. So, like I said, give him at least 3 years and then kind of assess from there. And then if you want to make a move, at least kind of what you got from a program perspective.
No, I totally agree with that because my thing is you would at least see some returns of what the investment is. And I think with what he's trying to do, it's just the personnel from which the scheme that he wants to do just don't match.
Yeah.
And when you see, it's like you see it schematically, but you don't. It's like even if you brought in those guys, they don't fit what you want to do, and so you're like, it's like. But this is where I would say coaching acumen comes into play because you can just figure something out on the fly. Okay, what can I do to make the players better on the field now? And I feel that he's that old guy, that old coach who says, my way is going to work. Do it the way that I want to do it. And I just kind of feel that it is anachronistic and it's old. So at the end of the day, it's like either conform or be gone. So
yeah, it's going to ultimately boil down to this. He's going to probably get another year to show some level of improvement. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I saw more from this team last year than I did this year. Like I saw more fight in the team last year than what I see this year. And now he has more of his
Absolutely.
guys on his roster this year. So now he's
Yeah.
going to have more of his guys on his roster next year, right? So
Yeah.
you kind of got to show some fight, like, and we got to show some level of progression. I think the kids are playing as hard as they can. I
Yeah.
just think there's things that have to change, and it's not going to be him, but I just think other things
Yeah.
will have to change.
Yeah.
And we have, and I could be quick and dirty about our next matchup real fast. We have Villanova next week. I don't anticipate us beating Villanova. I think we might cover the spread because for some reason we have a habit of playing better on the road than we do at home. So we got to go to Villanova. But it doesn't. I don't think. I don't see us getting that win, which is unfortunate. But I think we do have a chance to actually try to put some fight. And I think the kids. I think the student athletes are going to bust their behind. They're going to play hard for him. That's one thing I give him credit for. They've been playing hard for him. So that tells me that he hasn't lost the students for now, right? So, but we'll see. I mean, things will change real fast once the season ends. Because I will be paying attention to who's going in that portal, if anybody goes into the portal. There's some that I expect and some that I don't.
Yeah, that's a good indicator to the coaches, I would say, his pulse or his grip on the team. And going into you guys playing Villanova, because we played them last week, and we were expecting those gentlemen, we were expecting this game to not be as close as it was. And it came down to the last drive for us. And I think the biggest difference was you got to have a quarterback. And for us, oh, Jesus, we have two quarterbacks. One can throw, one can't. And unfortunately, we had the one that cannot throw in all of the crucial downs where you needed to throw. And the balls, he had a receiver. You saw that. And threw it the wrong way. And it was just like, oh, God.
All I'm going to say is this. If Mays played that whole game, y'all probably win that game.
We probably win the game.
I'll win that game.
It's like Mays sometimes feels like he has a confidence problem, but it's like Chris Ellis has a overconfidence problem, which I would say is a detriment to the program. So I think for us, it's like we need to try to see what this three-star recruit that we got as a quarterback who's sitting on the bench right now, if he's any good, or if we're going to go in the portal next year. Because Mays, when he's this is Mays' last year, it cannot be Zealous next year, or if it is Zealous, just a red zone package. But our next game is against Towson, and Towson is another middling program too. They're 4-5, 2-3 in the CAA, but they're similar to us. They play everybody extremely rough, and so this is at Towson. And last year at Towson, they didn't even. Our band showed up because we have a huge Maryland alumni population, and they did not allow the band to play in the stadium. So
let me tell you a quick story about Townsend.
Go ahead.
I've gone to a Townsend game too, but it was a women's basketball game, and I will give Townsend this level of credit. They take that home field advantage to heart. To heart, I tell you. Their band knows when to play, knows when not to play. They're part of like heckling the opposing teams. They take that home field advantage to heart. We had a volleyball game against them this season. I didn't get to watch it. It was televised too, crazy enough, because it was locally televised. The volleyball was locally televised. And from what I understand from the folks that were there, told me that the fans were very heckling. They know how to get to in the opponent's heads. Like, they're the masters of that. Like, they might be they outside of Club Corbett, they've done some things. I'm like, all right, I see what y'all doing, man. Y'all ain't too shy. I give them credit.
No, you're right. You're right. And that's where and it's the sad part. This is where I got my master's degree. So I'm sitting here like, and I don't root for them. So I think for us, it's like that definitely angered a lot of the alumni contingent last year. So of course they went, of course, what we do, we went right to the AD, their AD, and was like, hey, what's going on? Oh, that's what we do. It's just our rules. So I don't anticipate the force joining this year. But if I would, I'll be petty. I'll just play. Like, what they gonna do? Kick the band up the stands? I mean,
they're gonna start throwing flags at your team.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, Okay. All right. Well, and they're the type of program that wouldn't bring their band to Armstrong, so it wouldn't.
You know what's funny? We played Townsend last year, and when I went to the women's basketball game, we played Townsend for G-Ho last year.
Yeah.
When I went to the women's basketball game, I met some of the band members of Townsend.
Yeah.
They were hoping that they could come to G-Ho. They were praying.
No.
Why? I was like, we don't allow y'all.
No, absolutely not.
It's like we just don't allow.
They didn't even let us come to G-Ho, man.
Yeah.
I
had to let them know. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. You gotta play us in the off game. I can pay your money to come up here, but you don't allow us anything.
You know what? But I respect it and I'm cool with it. I think our program, it will be, if it was at home, we would definitely win. But I kind of give this game a 50-50 going into Towson. So to me, it's all about what does the quarterbacks do. The defense gonna ball. The running backs gonna get their yards. Offensive line's really good. So we're gonna do what we need to do to be successful. But the only problem is which quarterback is gonna play. And we'll just have to figure out that way. Another one, though, and I'm going to just end with this one. Some of these CAA programs, when they come to our campuses, have you noticed how they like to walk around way too much? I really don't like that, man. Don't show up in the student center. You don't get a chance to go to the plot. You ain't. You don't go. Like, why you at the plot? You know, what you doing over there? No, don't go over there. Or you at like. So I don't know. Seriously. You know, like you guys got the bus stop, A&T. Y'all got the people who integrated the schools. That little statue, right?
Yeah, A&T 4.
Okay, because I've seen a few people taking pictures that were part of the CAA contingent. I'm like, what are you doing over there? Like for us, we have the Emancipation Oak and we got Booker T. Don't go over there, but taking selfies. But that's the only funny thing about us in these conferences. It's like, why y'all? Oh, what are you looking at? Is nothing to see.
I will say this: when Townsend was there last year for G-Ho, I know we're gonna get to you, Brandon, because I know you got a lot to say about what happened with you and UT Martin, man. So I know. When we went to G-Ho last year, there was a decent chunk of Townsend contingent that did find a way to get attention and get there, and I will commend them for that because it takes effort to do something like that. But they did walk around the campus if they could, right? Because if you didn't try to walk around campus before kickoff, it was tough because you're talking the whole campus is packed after the game. But now they tried. They saw the tailgate. You know, they didn't get as far. I saw one frat from Townsend that popped up on the plot, but it wasn't too many.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So now next game, man. My condolences, Brandon, because y'all should have beat UT Martin last week.
Who you telling? Oh God, I don't even know where do I even start. You know, I'm gonna read some numbers. And 35, 33, 33. Those were the yardage of the first three touchdowns we gave up in the first quarter. 79, 29, -8 and 5. Now these are a little bit better. These are the amount of rushing yards that we gave up in each quarter, and then 21, 7, 0, and 0. So this, like, when I look at this game, it's again missed opportunities because if you don't fall behind 21-0, you played them pretty much blank after that. Your defense after that opening blitz, they didn't do much offensively, but again, turnovers, you Draylon throws 3 interceptions. We talked about it last week. Consistency and decision making. You throw 3 turnovers, 1 in the red zone. You have a pick 6 that gets dropped. You can't run the ball yourself. You stop them, but you can't run the ball. And then once again, it's in some ways it's like the Tennessee Tech game all over again. You're driving down the field, the chance in this case to tie. You get on the 6-yard line and you can't punch it in. And you know it was just a game of missed opportunities. Because I think if they played next week, they'd beat them by 2 touchdowns from what I saw on Saturday. And so, I mean, you look at it in terms of where the program was, you was on the verge of getting. You'd come up the rough side of the mountain. To those of you of a certain age, you'll get that reference. But you get up there, and again, you poop the bed with silly turnovers and just mistakes. And if you're trying to get to the level of competing, much less winning the OVC, you can't have these types of games. So now you went from potentially being in the driver's seat in terms of being in the Big South OVC title pick. Now you need help. You got to take care of business, including playing SEMO in the season finale. But now you need Tech and you need Martin to at least drop one game for you to be back in contention. So I don't know. The OVC title could be out of reach. You could be potentially looking at a playoff berth, but it's just you just hate. It seems like you're on the verge of them possibly turning the corner, and then this happens. So, yeah, that one was tough.
So for me, I can see a path for you guys to get there, but like you said, UT Martin would have to lose, and you're going to have to dominate SEMO. SEMO is the only OVC team that's in the top 10, the FCS top 10. Funny enough, there's no CAA teams in the top 10 for the playoffs. But I think part of that is because of the fact that the only ones that were playing like ranked opponents is Delaware, and Delaware doesn't qualify. Like, I think everybody else has only played like one out of the four top teams in that conference. So like a lot of the teams that are like near the top is pretty much they've been beaten up on the lower end of the conference. So it doesn't really help them from a strength of schedule standpoint. But for you guys, you got a top 10 team that you got a chance to run into. So you might have that opportunity to do that, but you're gonna need UT Martin to see Tech to catch a fade, so to speak, and maybe OVC Big South might get two teams in. Maybe they might only end up with just one. But because UT Martin doesn't play SEMO, right? Or they already played.
They already played them.
Yeah, okay.
They lost. It was actually a close game. SEMO only beat them by 3. It went to overtime. It was like 45-42.
Oh, okay. So if that's the case, it'll get fascinating to see how that goes down the stretch. UT Martin's got to catch it. They got to lose to somebody though. And I don't know what the schedule looks like. So I have no idea if that's even plausible.
Yeah. And now you go into Western Illinois on Saturday, and they're what 3-6, but it's not like they're not a can per se. They can put up points. They're the third ranked team in terms of scoring in the Big South OVC, which is, I think we're like 5th or 6th, but they give up a lot of points. They're the worst defense in the conference. So, I mean, there's going to be opportunities, but again, just like even like we said last week, you got to be able. You cannot turn the football over. I mean, three interceptions. One in the red zone. It's not going to get it done. Like I said, they can score, but I think you got to go and you've got to take them serious. And Tennessee State's got to be able to run the ball. I mean, they use. You see bits and pieces of 4 backs throughout the game. I think the last time I looked at the numbers, they're averaging 105 yards per game on the ground. But here's an interesting thing. They have not had one back run for 100 yards yet this season.
That's impressive.
I think that is, the highest. I think somebody got 67, but yeah, they have not been able to really run the football at all, which is, it's kind of crazy because you would think with Coach George and his philosophy being run first, the fact that they can't run the ball, but they end up pitching it all over the place. It's kind of crazy. So they've got to pick that up.
I agree, man. It pretty much it makes yourself one-dimensional. You really got to pick that up in regard to that. And I mean, and hopefully, and considering who your coach is, one of the best running backs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He can't run the ball, man. That's kind of wild for me.
It's crazy. And see, I don't know if it'll be like last week in the Howard game. You can't rely on another kickoff return to either stave off a run or get you going. I mean, those are great plays to have, but I don't know if that's something. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't know. That's not something you can rely on a week-to-week basis. So it's incumbent again on Draylon Ellis to kind of get back to what the level of play that he's shown in nearly every other game up until last week. In terms of, like I said, protecting the ball, which he'd been good at for most of the season. I know that this particular team they just played, from a passing yard standpoint, Martin gives up a lot of yards. But when you look at, they are aggressive in terms of going after the football, because they're probably first now after the 3 they got off us. They were third in the conference in interceptions. So they do go after the ball. So with that in mind, hope Brandon and the coaching staff have looked at the film and kind of, because I didn't get a chance to ask on the call. I if I had gotten a chance, I would have said, what did he say that he saw on the interceptions? Was it something schematically that they were doing? Was it, I was just curious as to what he said when he came to the sideline after those interceptions. So they, it's the more things change, the more they stay the same sometimes. So that was a tough one.
Oh, I caught a decent chunk of that game, man. So I was watching. I was sorely disappointed because I felt like they had multiple opportunities, like just like similar to Hampton against Villanova. I felt like they had their chances as well. And it was just, and as somebody who had to sit through a blowout, I was rooting for you guys to pull these games out, man.
Definitely that.
But before we go to break, I gotta get a shout. I will give a shout out to one Aggie. Shout out to Shamik Blizzard. 20 carries, 132 yards, 3 catches. Yeah, I think it was like 26 yards receiving as well. So shout out to him. I think we got a running back. We're still RBU. We just got to keep running with the youth movement, and we're gonna after this break, we're gonna discuss basketball. We're gonna get into some basketball because we've already had a couple games on the men's and the ladies side. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll go from there. This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sport Live. We'll be back right after this break.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and Sunshine Anderson. Immerse yourself in interactive art, take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app that brings Eatonville's legacy to life from your phone. Enjoy family-friendly STEM activities and explore over 80 unique vendors. Please don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets or to become a vendor. We'll see you in Eatonville, the oldest Black incorporated municipality in the country.
At AutoMasters LLC, our mission is to serve our community by providing quality automobiles at affordable prices. All of our vehicles are inspected and certified to offer you the confidence in knowing you have a quality vehicle. Our goal is to provide you with a seamless process and positive experience for your automobile purchase. Financing recommendations and specific vehicle inquiries are available at your request. You can find us at www.automasters06.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, please feel free to contact Terrence Miles at 601-927-7794. And oh yeah, tell him Sonia sent you.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Inside. Welcome back to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I apologize. It's been a long day, guys. I want to tell you guys a quick story. So the Lady Aggies played SMU this weekend. A few days ago. Actually, Monday. They played on Monday. They lost the game 77-64, but it was about what happened during the game that was kind of crazy. Because I guess Dallas was going through a lot of tornado watches and there was a lot of rain that they received, and the roof of the arena of the Coliseum was leaking. So they ended up having to play the game in the practice gym. So of course they refunded the fans, and there were some folks that were allowed to watch the game from the window of the practice gym, so to speak. One of my friends was able to watch the game. We did have some injuries that came out of it. Aaliyah Bacone got hurt during that game, which is one of our best players. Don't know the severity of the injury quite yet. But they played. They fought. They fought valiantly, but they just couldn't come up on the winning side of it. Uh, but I still expect those ladies to win the conference. They're up to the task. They will pick the win. So that's what I expect. And we can start with ladies basketball if we want. We can transition to the men's.
No, we're good. I'll say for us, our first game was against Bowie State, and we ended up winning 65-55, and it was Tamisha Augustine's first victory. And you know what? A lot of us didn't know what to expect because this is a total new team, total new a roster overhaul. She did retain some players. Maya Reeves is one of them, but we struggled in the first half with Bowie State. The first half score was we were up 18-14. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, 18. Oh, no, we were. Yeah. Oh God, it was 25-18. No, I'm sorry, 25-28. We were up, and this game was pretty much, I would say, back and forth pretty much all the time. And Bowie State isn't really I think they're kind of like a mid-lean CIAA program. So it was just getting a lot of pieces into place for Augustine. And, you know, the bigs were somewhat of a liability in the transition game. We actually got a 6'5" big. And I would say in the transition game, you know, she's kind of lumbering up and down the court. So, you know, this new players, first game, new coach, new scheme, you know, it's going to take a while for the players to adjust, primarily in CAA play. But for the most part, you know, it looked like they were well into it, but they did miss a lot of free throws. So that was, I would say, a little bit concerning. But first game again. So, you know, they're definitely going to be better, you know, moving forward. So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, so the Lady Aggies, they were leading at the end of the first quarter, but their second and third quarters were brutal. They ended up winning the fourth quarter as well, but it was too much to try to overcome from that standpoint. We still have Jordan Dorsey, and she's doing Jordan Dorsey things. So shout out to her. Let me pull up her line. Yeah, she had 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. So she's still doing Jordan Dorsey things. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how we do with our next opponent coming up. So, but yeah. But I think we're gonna have plenty of opportunity to do damage in the conference. I'm worried about Hampton, man, on both the women's and the men's side. But I know you got a new coach, so it's gonna take some time for her to do what she needs to do to get that team turned around.
Yeah, definitely gonna take some time because it's like they were overpassing at certain points, and then I guess like the half court defense kind of broke down at certain points. But it's understandable for first game. So, but I like the trajectory that the program is on and what she's doing, but it's going to be a minute.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. So, Brandon, how's the ladies of Tennessee State doing so far? Have y'all played yet? How they looking? You're on mute, buddy.
My bad. There we go. Now we played our season opening here recently. So they won 72-62 over Cumberland. So first win for brand new coach Candace Dupree. So she got that out of the way. I think from what I see defensively, I like some of the things that I saw. They forced 24 turnovers in the game, which is amazing. Fresh out of the gate. Now they did have 22, which kind of like Jeff was talking about with Hampton. You can kind of, I think, attribute that to first game, new coach. You're bringing in your players, and I think some of those rough edges can be worked out. So anytime you can get a win and at least start off 1-0, I think, especially when you've got a new coach coming in and trying to put her imprint on the program, I think it's a great thing. So it's good to see them get that win. The men's side, they opened up against Fisk. They beat the brakes off them, 96-66. So we were picked, I believe, third or fourth in the OVC. That was a game they should have won. So, you can kind of take what you can from a game like that. Some of the new guys that he brought in, when I say Coach Collins, played very well in the game. So we've got a bunch of new players. We lost a lot. Starting point guard, lost with our top two leading scorers, lost a big man. So there was a lot of pieces on the men's side that we have to replace. So I'm going to give them a few more games. Look, no disrespect to my Fisk brethren down Jefferson Street. No shade intended. But this is a game we should have won. And so I can only take but so much out of beating an NIA program by 30. So I really want to see them as we go through the non-conference portion of the schedule. I'm really wanting to see point guard play. As I said, we don't have Marcus there anymore. Who's going to be kind of some of those additional scorers there, considering a lot of the offensive punch that we lost, and then kind of some of the interior play in terms of rebounding. So those are kind of the areas that I'm going to be looking at as this non-conference portion of the schedule kind of plays itself out.
One thing I'll say, you want to talk about making sure you beat somebody. The men of A&T, they went up against the oldest HBCU in the land, Cheney University. We beat them 107-55. And honestly, man, there was a time where we would have trouble with these with D2 teams and things of the sort. So this was encouraging to watch. We got some pretty good players on deck with regards to that. Landon Glasper, who was the leading scorer for the team last season, came back. He went into the portal. He decided to come back, which is beautiful. To shout out to Coach Monty Ross for being able to convince him to return. We still got Cam Shell, Will Felton. Finally got to make his debut. He's been hurt the last 2 years, so this is his first game. So shout out to him. He's had some devastating injuries, so I know he's thrilled. And he's as advertised when he was recruited by the previous regime. We got a kid from Maryland, Lamonti. He's been looking pretty good, Jonathan Lamonti. So I can't complain, man. I think they had us projected 10th to be 10th in the CAA, and I think we're going to break that projection, just like we broke it. Just like we broke it last season.
I know I said it the last time we talked about A&T basketball, but I'm really hoping for health for Glasper this season because he is a dude.
Oh my God, yes. But here's the fun fact for you, man. Like he was selected to be all CAA because he was the leading scorer before he got hurt. And I don't think he's going to be leading scorer here, and it won't be a bad thing.
That means you got other pieces, so we can, if anything, that should make his efficiency go up because you got other guys, and that should easier shots within the offense.
And the team's bought in, but we get Wake Forest on Thursday, so we're going to get a true test on Thursday.
Ooh, yes, you will. Yes, you will.
All right, men's basketball for you, Mr. Johnson. We got how your men looking, man?
All right, so we beat Mid-Atlantic Christian, so which is they're basically the University of Virginia Lynchburg of basketball. So we play them every year. That's been going on since the joiner years. So. And we beat them. The final was what was it? 110 to 53. It is not indicative of anything. So let's kind of get that out the way. So we outscored them in the second half by 40, and then in the first half we outscored them by 17 points. But Noah Farrakhan was basically the man. 13 points. He was the big guy. He was heavily recruited coming out of high school, but I think something happened where I guess he never reached that full potential. And of course, the homegrown Kyrie Smullen, 14 points. And we had a couple of our standout players, freshmen, come in and contribute right away. Daniel Johnson, 19 points. This is a freshman too. And he actually owned that second half. So there's a lot of bright spots for, I would say, the men's basketball team. I think that this game is not indicative of, what to expect coming up, because this is Mid-Atlantic Christian. They literally are just a ragtag bunch of kids that's just playing basketball. So I do like some things that we did see on the court with Coach Ivan Thomas's scheme. He is kind of more of like a run and shoot type of game. So very good cohesiveness, good team all around. So, but it's the first game. Next game might be a blowout. We play George Washington next, which we've been successful with in the past couple of years. So pretty much good so far.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and take the last commercial break, and then we're going to close out the show. So we'll be back right after this break.
Hey, grab me one too.
Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mr. This script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer.
Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true.
Gotta get the corners.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. To close out the show, I'm just going to ask you guys a question. What game are you looking forward to other than your own this weekend?
Give me a moment.
Okay, Brandon, what about you? I can name mine, and you guys can do what you need to do.
Outside of mine, I'm actually, and this may surprise, I'm actually looking forward to the Fountain City Classic down in Columbus. Because there's actually a log jam really outside of Miles. There's a log jam for that second spot in that SIAC championship game. And if Albany State wants to have any say about potentially getting in, they've got to win this game. I believe they won last year. So I'm really intrigued by that game. I think the SIAC has been kind of interesting. They hadn't been, of course, the CIA has been beating the stuffing out of them whenever they encounter each other. But nonetheless, when I was looking at some of the games, and even when we were kind of looking at some of the mid-major poll rankings, which will be out later tonight, the write-up for which on SeekerShopTalk.com, be sure to check that out. That was kind of one of the games I think that stood out, kind of wanting to see how the rest of that non-Miles side of the SIAC championship game shakes out. So that is the game I will be paying attention to. I'm old school, so I'll probably be listening to the on the radio.
Well, for me, because Jeff, you good? Or you want me to go ahead? I'll go in with my game real fast. So for me, it's Howard versus South Carolina State. South Carolina State's got to go up to DC. We're gonna find out if they can go up in the 50-degree weather. I guess what they're gonna have in the DC area, and see if they can go ahead and get this win. They should be able to beat Howard, but you never know. When folks be traveling up to the MEAC North, is what they would say. I know the school down the road are the biggest Howard fans on earth right now. So watching them squirm is worth it for me. So from that standpoint, that's going to be one of the games I'm going to be watching. It's going to be a 6-hour difference from where I'm going to be in Germany. But we're not going to try to catch it. Jeff, what do you got, buddy?
I got two. The first one, and I'm going to concur with you, Howard and South Carolina State. I do think that South Carolina State has pretty much the program that definitely steamroll Howard at home. I think Howard is going to mail it in. They're still feeling it from the Kamala loss. So definitely that one. The second one I would say is Grambling and Alabama State. I would say two kind of middle of the pack programs. Kind of want to see how Alabama State moves off of their last one and how Grambling rebounds. So definitely keeping my eye on that, and I want to see what Alabama State does down in Grambling, Louisiana. I'm definitely going to be watching that game, see what Miles Crowley's going to do against his old team.
Alabama State is at their fifth-string quarterback, and they're finding ways to win games. It is astonishing to watch.
Yep.
That defense with the fifth-string quarterback in that run game are finding ways to win games.
Yes.
Any last thoughts, Brandon, before I close the show out?
No, I'm looking forward to a great weekend of HBCU football. We're coming down to the wire in a lot of these conferences. Teams are coming down to the season finales in the SIAC, the CIAA. There's still a lot of football to be determined in terms of the SWAC and the MEAC to see who will be in Atlanta. So I'm just looking forward to that. I'm glad that basketball is back.
Yeah.
So we're this is not directed at anybody, but if your team didn't have the season that you wanted,
well, I've been there. I'm over here watching volleyball, bowling. I'm watching everything. Off country. I'm watching it all at this rate.
Yeah. We're still holding that hope that if we win out, we'll get a playoff spot based upon we have a definite shot. If we can win out, we could it'll be a spot for us, hopefully.
You got your work cut out for you, but it is possible.
We do. We know.
It's always possible. If you have a possibility, you got to keep hope alive, right?
Yeah.
But all right, man.
Much.
Yep. All right. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I'm David L. Rhodes. This is Brandon King and Jeffrey Johnson. And shout out to Dr. Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports. We hope you enjoyed. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. They go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time and Sunday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the Indy Report goes live on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We look forward to next week, and we'll discuss the latest news in the lab. Make sure you follow all three of us with our respective handles. They're sitting here right here. I'm Champ D 1012. We got Jeffery Johnson 1906, right?
Yeah, Jeffrey Alpha 06. I still got to work on
Jeffrey Alpha 06. Sorry about that.
I need to make my little thing like yours.
Yeah. Make sure you go to sneakershoptalk.com as well. Check out some of the articles that my man Brandon King's be out here writing in these streets, and some of the stuff he talks about at Sneaker Shop. So shout out to you, sir. Dream big and continue to move forward. We'll talk to you soon. Brandon?
Of course.
Jeff?
Lecture?
Dismiss.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.